The rain in Chicago that night wasn't falling. It was pounding, hammering the windows of a hospital waiting room, where a young woman sat hunched in a hard plastic chair, clutching the tiny hand of her 3-year-old daughter. She looked far older than 24, her brown hair pulled into a messy ponytail, her green eyes dimmed with exhaustion. The little girl's voice broke through the hum of the fluorescent lights. "Mommy, my tummy hurts again." And just like that, Elena Parker's heart cracked a little more. They'd been here before 3 emergency visits in 2 months, each ending with doctors shrugging and calling it a virus. But Elena's gut screamed something deeper was wrong. A nurse finally called her name, and she scooped her daughter up, feeling her fever through thin pajamas. They walked down a sterile hallway, the kind that smells like bleach and hopelessness, and Elena's phone buzzed. She didn't need to look to know who it was. "Luke Bennett," she muttered under her breath. Her ex. A tech CEO whose face was in magazines, whose net worth could pay for every test her daughter needed 10 times over. He'd been calling all day, probably about some PR stunt. She silenced the phone and focused on the doctor, who gently explained they'd need more tests. Expensive ones. How much, she asked, bracing herself. The figure made her vision blur. She nodded, pretending she could handle it, then carried her daughter out into the rainy night, like she was carrying the weight of the world. Hours later, she sat at her rickety kitchen table in a 1-bedroom apartment. Past due notices covered the surface like confetti of failure. She had $34 left in her checking account, a credit card near its limit, and a child who might be seriously ill. When Luke's name lit up her phone again, she answered. Elena finally. His deep, polished voice came through smooth as always. "The company's gala is next week. It'd be good optics if you and Lily came." She laughed, bitter and tired. "Optics. We're your family now. When it's convenient." "Don't start," he sighed. "You know I provide for Lily. You provide for daycare," she shot back. "Not the test she needs. But that's fine, right? Your board wouldn't like a scandal. Your fiancé wouldn't either." The silence on his end was deafening. "Is she sick?" he finally asked. "We're fine," Elena lied. "Because what was the point? We don't need your charity." She hung up, and that night she made a choice that would change everything. She packed 2 bags, withdrew the last $342 from her savings, and told Lily they were going on an adventure. They left Chicago on a Greyhound bus, rain streaking down the windows. Elena had one plan: disappear. She had family in Portland who'd offered her a couch once. It wasn't much, but it was far from Luke's world of press releases and profit margins. She thought she was protecting her daughter. What she didn't know was that the doctor concerned by her daughter's labs had flagged her file for follow-up. And when no one could reach Elena, he called the only other contact listed, Luke Bennett. That call hit Luke like ice water. He remembered signing something the night Lily was born, back before he convinced himself that fatherhood didn't fit his life plan. Life-threatening, the doctor had said. Luke had built an empire, but those 2 words left him paralyzed. He promised to find them. He didn't know then that finding someone who wants to disappear is like chasing smoke. 5 years passed. Elena rebuilt her life piece by piece in Portland. She worked double shifts, went to community college, then nursing school, all while managing Lily's rare kidney condition, a name she could now recite like a prayer, atypical hemolytic uremic syndrome. With proper meds, Lily thrived, her dark curls bouncing as she waved paintings from school. Elena's cousin Megan became family, helping with childcare while Elena pushed through exams and night shifts. They were surviving, even smiling sometimes. But survival has cracks. Lately, Lily had been tired more often. Her labs weren't improving. Elena stayed calm for her daughter, but every late-night drive to the hospital chipped away at her strength. Meanwhile, in a Chicago penthouse, Luke Bennett stared at a grainy photo emailed by a private investigator. It showed a nursing student volunteering at a health fair, chestnut hair tied neatly back. Even turned away from the camera, he knew it was her. After 5 years, he had a lead. He booked a flight to Portland, but he was too late to arrive quietly. That same night, Lily's fever spiked dangerously. Elena sat by her hospital bed as doctors ordered donor testing. When her results came back, she wasn't a match. The wait for a transplant donor could be a year. A clinical trial offered hope, but it required genetic testing from both parents. Elena's stomach turned. She'd spent years shielding Lily from rejection, convinced they were better off alone. Now that decision could cost her daughter's life. She stared at her phone thumb hovering over Luke's number memorized despite years of distance. But she never made the call. At dawn, a knock on the hospital door startled her. She stepped into the hallway and froze. Luke stood there, older, sharper around the edges, but unmistakable. "Elena," he said softly. "It took me a long time, but I found you." She swallowed hard. "Why, I've been looking for 5 years," he said. His voice cracked on the number. She stared speechless. "You don't just get to walk back into our lives. I'm not here to take over. I needed to see her, to know she's okay." "She's not okay." Elena snapped, her voice low but fierce. "She's been fighting for years while you've been—" "What?" "Making Forbes covers. Marrying your investor's daughter." Luke flinched. "I didn't know. Not until that doctor called after you left Chicago. I've been searching ever since." Before she could respond, a nurse poked her head out. "She's asking for you." Elena glanced at Luke, torn. Inside, Lily sat up in bed, pale but smiling weakly. Elena sat beside her, stroking her curls. "Sweetheart, there's someone outside who wants to meet you," she whispered. "He's your dad." Lily's eyes widened. "The man in your picture box." "You found that?" Elena smiled sadly. "I liked how happy you looked," Lily said softly. "Is he nice?" Elena hesitated. "He's complicated, but I think he wants to be here for you." "Then let him in." Luke stepped inside, and the corporate armor he wore like a second skin shattered. He knelt beside her bed, tears glinting in his eyes. "Hi, Lily. I'm Luke. I've been looking for you for so long." She studied him with the blunt honesty of a child. "Why?" "Because I made a mistake," he said quietly. "I thought other things mattered more than being your dad. I was wrong." "Mom says everyone makes mistakes," Lily murmured. "It's what you do after that matters." Luke glanced at Elena, and for the first time in years, they shared something like understanding. Over the next few days, Luke learned everything. The years of hospitalizations, the rare genetic mutation discovered in Lily's latest tests, the clinical trial that could save her life. He listened like a man starved for truth. When Dr. Rivera explained they'd need both parents' genetic profiles, Luke didn't hesitate. "Test me. Whatever she needs." Luke started showing up every day. Sometimes he brought books or crafts. Sometimes he just sat silently as Lily slept, his hand resting lightly on hers. He didn't ask for forgiveness. He didn't try to rewrite the past. He just showed up. Slowly, Lily warmed to him, teaching him clapping games, telling him about school. Elena watched, wary but moved. Weeks later, the results came in. The mutation came from Luke's side. The therapy was tailored to that discovery, and it worked. Lily's health began to rebound. For the first time in years, Elena exhaled without fear. 6 months later, they celebrated in a small park. Lily's laughter rang out as she raced up a slide, her energy restored. Luke sat beside Elena on a worn bench. "I've taken a research position at the university here," he said, eyes fixed on Lily. "I want to stay close, if that's okay with you. I'll take whatever role you'll let me." Elena studied him. He wasn't the cold executive she remembered. This man had been humbled, reshaped. "She asks about you when you're not here," she said softly. "So? Yeah. She'd like that." "And you?" he asked quietly. She didn't answer right away. The sunset painted the sky pink and gold. "Sometimes," she said finally, "the worst mistakes lead us to the right places." Luke swallowed hard. "She told me once she dreamed of angels bringing her a special gift. She thought they were real. I think she was right. But I'm not the angel here. You are." Elena's throat tightened. She looked at her daughter alive, laughing free, and for the first time in years, hope didn't feel dangerous. That's the thing about second chances. They're messy, controversial, and they don't erase the past. But sometimes they create something better. So what do you think? Should someone like Luke get forgiveness after abandoning his family? Or is showing up now too little too late? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Stories like this spark real conversations about family justice and what redemption really costs.